Alright, so excuse the shitty lighting. We did not get to do this earlier in the day as I would have normally liked to. This will probably be the last video I do at my brother's house, though, on account of they're going to be moving soon. Just got back from walking Buttercup in India, and I'm not entirely sure what they're doing in the hallway. They are... Oh, cool. Breathing in my ear. That's enough. That's enough. Get back. Today's been all over the place. And I kind of knew it would be. Of course, I like to start my day with, walking the dogs and get that all handled. But last night, my aunt asked if I would be able to help her and my uncle finish moving my cousin's shit out of his apartment. So I went along and did that and got to drive the U-Haul van, which was okay. I like driving different vehicles, and always takes a little while to get used to, but it was all right. Do not love learning a new vehicle on the interstate in the first 5 minutes. That's not my favorite. Survived it, but still not my favorite. Somebody's in the water bowl. So 10 o'clock this morning I came over here, which that's a little... Normally what I do is when I get up to feed my dogs in the early morning, I just go ahead and pop in over here and potty these two, and then don't have to come back over here immediately and can go back and sleep until I'm ready to get up, and then get up, get ready, and walk my dogs first, and then come over here and walk them as well. Definitely not trying that endeavor together, ever. Because these two pull enough as it is with just the two of them, and two of mine pull really bad. Ziva, hers is usually pulling backwards when she has to stop to potty, and nobody's waiting. But that's not too bad. But I'm not ever that kind of sucker for punishment. So, yeah. So at 4 o'clock this morning when I woke up and fed my dogs, and I thought about it, it's like, I'm not coming over here at that point in time. I was over here until about 1:45 so I didn't figure that they would have any issues. See, what I've noticed is they don't always go again when Bassett was a puddle in the laundry room until she saw me laughing at her. Or not in the laundry room, in the hallway. Yeah, she's licking my elbow. And belching in my face, dude. So I left at 11:30. Usually I'd still come over here, but I've noticed that they don't always leave the porch. So if they're not going to leave the porch, what's the point in coming over here? So I did not come over here. I mean, except for on the cases where it's going to be a normal day and I'm going to walk my dogs before I get over here later. Gross. Dog slime. These two in their drool. First, Hound, which that's a whole thing in and of itself. The Doodle, Schnoodle, has the nice curly hair that just absorbs, her little beard absorbs the water from the water bowl as she's slurping, and then she comes over and wipes her chin on you. She actually did that as I started the first video that I tried. It's like, but she's over there now. Okay, so 10 o'clock this morning I was over here for about a half hour and got them pottied, and they were all sorts of bummed when I put them back in the box and didn't walk them. Because when I've been over here, we go walk, like, next thing after they potty. So I went back home and waited on my aunt and uncle to come pick me up, which they're right next door. But the yard's muddy at this point in time because it rained a bunch today. and I didn't know when they were going to be ready. I know they've been moving stuff from my cousin's apartment. They did what they could with just my uncle's car, because he's got like an Escape also. I think his is a newer model than the one I drive, but it's a little roomier. So they've been over there the past couple days working on it and loading and bringing stuff back. Apparently his cats, there's like some crazy hiding spots that they will go into, and one of them, I'm not sure if it's like up in the chimney kind of area, or because they tried to block that off, but apparently they have somewhere they can go where it's like 15 feet up, and that only makes sense for it to be the chimney, but whatever. Either way, they go into hiding. So they did not get the cats sooner because the cats were MIA. Though the roommate said he could catch them, and he did have that handled before we got over there today. So that was good. Don't you lick the toilet, you nasty. So we get... First off, we go to the U-Haul place, and the one that we stopped at first did not have what we needed, because we were looking for a van or like a small, super small box truck, because it really just needed to fit his bed. At least that's all I knew it needed to fit. That was most of it, but yeah. Luckily, his bed is a lot lighter than mine, because when I moved mine from one room to the other, but had to go to the to the living room in between while I was waiting on getting the desk moved, that was a pain in the ass because it's Tempur-Pedic. His, I don't know what it is, but it's a lot lighter than that. And it's a good thing it is, because so they have this, it's a 3-bedroom apartment, but it had like this room upstairs, and there was a little bit of a loft area up there. The bedroom upstairs was like a pretty good size. It's a nice one. Has like 3 closets and a bathroom. And yeah, it's pretty big. The problem is, it has a spiral staircase. And it's not real sturdy feeling. Like when you're walking up, it kind of feels like it's shaking a little bit, even though it's carpeted and it, I don't know, probably is relatively stable. It still doesn't feel like it. And I think I got like 5 steps up, and it's like, I would not have even had to go on all the way up in this apartment to figure out, like, doing a walkthrough, that I would not be happy in this space. But especially when it comes to like moving things, and you can't take anything up this itty bitty narrow spiral staircase. So when I helped them move him in, we lifted, luckily he was able to help, and he had a friend, I think 2 friends, that were able to help as well. 2 or 3. One of them was the friend that also moved in, but she's apparently flaked out as well. Anyway, so there were plenty of us to push this thing up over the balcony, which also is not sturdy at all. Kind of surprised we didn't break it today, so it must be sturdier than I anticipated. But yeah, like they said the dresser had to go up that way too, and I don't remember doing that with the dresser. I remember the bed and the box springs for sure. But his bed frame was in a bunch of pieces, so it got carried up the stairs. His one remaining roommate was there, and he's getting ready to move out as well. He did not participate at all, which is fine, and I feel like he's probably happy he's not going to have to deal with living with my cousin again, to be honest, because there's no way that has been working out favorably for him. Apparently, my cousin, okay, so he has two cats, and he does not like to have them sleeping in the room with him. So they were never allowed in his bedroom. And when he got them, he was living in this apartment by himself and, brings the two cats in it. I don't know how much he was actually around to even bother having cats. Because at one point he was working like 6 different jobs. And they're like color guard, working with the schools and stuff, but he had like a long drive, at least to one of them, at least. And, doing just all the running he was doing, it's like, he's probably never there with the cats. Well, apparently he hasn't even been staying at this apartment he's been paying rent at recently. Like for the past 3 weeks, I think he said he's been living with a friend closer to where we're at, but still not quite there. I think somebody's got to go outside, so hold on. Okay, so he's not been in the apartment for like the past 3 weeks, yet he has these 2 cats, and he's just been letting his roommate take care of them. Also, he has 4 mice, because he had a teaching job and got them for the classroom and apparently no longer works there at the school, so he also has a tank of mice, and he's trying to figure out where to go so he doesn't have to take care of that too, which nobody wants his mice. I have no interest in rodents as pets anymore. I had guinea pigs, and I enjoyed them while I had them. I had hamsters. Fun fact, first pet that I had that traumatized me in its death was a hamster. I had 2, and I think I was in 6th grade when at least when the first one died. But yeah, that was my first experience with death after my great-grandfather and my dog. That was the whole thing when I was 8 and traumatized me more on that end and gave me a whole bunch more things to be upset with. But then middle school, this was the next big death, and I mean, obviously it's a rodent, so it wasn't a huge death, but just because I am me, and especially more so connected to my animals. Yeah, it was rough. But then I got the guinea pigs after that, and I think I don't even remember. I don't think I had any of them till they died. I think they all ended up rehomed at some point in time. Although they were responsible for one of the coolest snow days I ever had. When I was in 8th grade, I think. So we got this one, and we're told that it was female. And so we decided to get it a friend that was actually female. And then next thing you know, we find out the one was a male. And got the other one pregnant. So then we traded the male out back at the pet store for another female. And that one's probably the reason why I didn't have any of them for the entirety of their lifetime, because she was one that you open the door, do anything, it's all at once. Reet, reet, reet. It's like, it's yelling at me again. So that was not my favorite thing. But yeah, then I ended up shifting to cats instead, and I kept one of the babies for a while. So I had the mom, I had the one we traded the male for, and then I kept one baby, and then I gave one of the other babies to my best friend at the time. And I think the other two probably went back to the pet store. It was another time, y'all. I would do things entirely different at this point in time, but it's still a learning experience kind of a thing, right? Okay, she bellowed once, but I think she's probably barking at something else. And okay, maybe not. Let me check on her. Okay, so yeah, another time, but is what it is. I kept 3 for a while, and then eventually moved to cats. And what it was, my brother decided he wanted a cat, and I'm not sure why he ended up with the one he did. Honestly, more than anything, I think because it was a lot older. Take that in the other room. It was a lot older. It was a tuxedo kind of cat, except for it didn't have the white all the way up its face. It was just its chin. And it was a rescue. I don't even remember how long we had her. But then, since he started the cat thing, and also the guinea pigs were on their way out, then I also wanted a kitten. I wanted a kitten. I think he probably would have enjoyed it more if he would have gotten one of those. But I don't know. For some reason, we ended up with an older rescue. And then I think somebody my mom knew had a litter of kittens, and one of them was a Manx, so it didn't have a tail. And it's like, that's pretty cool. So I ended up with that one. And I love that cat. That cat was badass. The problem was when I went and got her a friend. Because the friend, when we got her, she was really young when we got her, but I think she had not been fully weaned. So I would have mornings, I would wake up and she would have sucked all over my shirt, and it would just be wet and disgusting. It's like, I can't do this. That was, I did it for a long time, but it was not a fan of that at all. But Tigger was badass. First time we brought her home and showed her where the litter box was, so she didn't have a tail. She went to squat and fell over on her nose in the sand. Then she figured it out. But it was funny. Anyway, that cat, when my aunt and uncle that I spent the day with ended up here, they had a tuxedo cat already. And my aunt just loved the cat that my brother had. And so it ended up being her cat. And it was a better choice, I think. Get the little tongue. She keeps licking her nose. I think she's been eating. Don't share that with me. No. No, that's enough. Oh. So yeah, anyway. On the moving my cousin out thing. Okay, so we got his bed and the mattress down over the banister. And his roommate had to move his TV stand and the TV out of the way to do this, but we were able to do this just fine. And then we also ended up moving a dresser down that way as well, which that was an ordeal because the roommate disappeared. No idea where he went. I saw him go out the back door. I don't know if he just went around the house or the apartment or what he did, but he just disappeared for a while. But God, that dresser was a pain in the ass. We took all the drawers out of it, and then it was still really heavy and really flimsy. So we got it on the banister. It's like my uncle and me moving it to the banister and taking it enough over where it's not a whole lot of weight on me holding it there while he runs to the bottom. But then he ran to the bottom to catch it, which is also really heavy, right? And ended up having my aunt run out and help real quick, help me at the top and getting it over. So, of course, it's hard to figure out where to grab this thing too, right? Because it's a dresser and there's a whole lot of flat sides and like one good spot for a handle, but then also the legs. So that was okay. But, have it flat side down on the banister because it's sliding over the banister, and then tip it down to my uncle who catches it and holds it on his head. And my aunt holds it at the top. And then I run down the stairs, the dizzyfying stairs, and help him bring it down. It's like, what a freaking mess, right? And this is all conveniently, it worked out really well for my cousin's benefit, since he broke his leg, which, obviously there are other issues that come from the broken leg and the fact that he can't walk on it for 6 to 8 weeks, although that's also pending having a conversation with the orthopedist. And, so the job he had is kind of gone to shit because he was a waiter, I guess. So, yep, that's not going to work for him. If he can't use it for anything. So, yep, that's a problem. But it worked well for him as far as getting his shit out of the apartment without having to do anything to help. And I am confident that is more his style. His mom had to clean the bathroom and all this shit. It's like, oh my God, this dude. I wouldn't live with him. When I talked about this whole situation the other day, it's like the anxiety end of it. It's like there are a lot of ways he is just like my grandfather. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know how I feel about that. But yeah, this is the youngest cousin in the group. And, okay, like, the pets part of it was bothering me because, he has these cats that he's not taking care of them. He's letting his roommate do the work for him, and meanwhile staying with somebody else. It's like, nope, that's not good. Will you stop? You do not have to be that close. I am confident she is wiping her face on me. Yeah. Thank you for that. That muffin shirt again. Stop! Dude. Yeah, but I feel funky. I'm going to have to take a shower and, scrub everything because that carrying the mouse tank, which is a 20 gallon, so it's not that big of a deal, but it was stank. They got to ride in the trunk, to be honest. So the cats did not. The cats were in the backseat of my aunt's car. But my aunt and I were in the van. And we stopped for food on the way back home. And we stopped at IHOP because there's an IHOP on the way. And it was really weird because we got taken to the table by one person, and then it was a really long time before anybody came over there, and then this other person comes over and takes our drink order and then disappears, and then somebody else brings the drinks out and then comes back to take our order, but the drinks were brought out by somebody different too. It's like everything happened by somebody different until it came to the waitress that took our order. She did come back a couple other times, but when we were getting ready to leave, she said, "Thank you for your patience." She said something about not having management and the second shift hadn't showed up. So she said she was supposed to pick her kids up 2 hours ago and was still stuck at work. It's like, ooh. So they're all just like sharing these different tasks and hoping for the next shift to show up, and nobody was showing up. So, yeah. um, yeah, but it was all right. So we get back to my aunt's house and back the van up almost all the way to the garage. I mean, it was the doors when they were open were touching the garage, so it wouldn't have been able to go in. Which, I mean, was fine. We had enough space to be mostly out of the rain while we were throwing his stuff in the garage. And it wasn't raining a lot, but it was enough. And that started before we were even done at the apartment. But then, yeah, we got all that done. We went and took the van back, and then they took me back over to my house and dropped me off. And then I handled the thing I didn't get done yesterday, which was I wanted to trim up the one lilac bush by the pond at my corner of the house, because it had this like morning glory vine growing through it real all over the place, and it needed to be trimmed back a bunch. It's like, hey, it has no leaves yet, so let's do that. And well, it did have leaves today, but not, I mean, they were itty bitty. It was like, so it's like, yeah, I can hack some of this off. So I did, and then I put them over on the burn pile, and then decided to walk my dogs. And then when I came back, okay, on the way to walking the dogs, which we left around, I'm wanting to say it was 5:15 probably when we left the house to go walk. I did not think about it until we were in the car, but they had not eaten. And as we were getting ready to leave, okay, so my parents had been gone and got back when I was trimming up the lilac bush. And then when I was leaving, my mom opens the garage door, like I'm backing out of the driveway, and she comes out and she is holding an empty bread bag because apparently Ziva got into the bread, and I just poked her in the belly. It's like, yep, she's solid. I mean, I kind of thought that she had gotten into something because her belly, she shows it really well when she was doing something she was not supposed to be doing, such as getting into bread, which is not the first, won't be the last. When it generally happens is when my dad leaves something on the table. Although Taz is the only one tall enough to get anything off of the counter, but he's definitely not above it. So yeah, I don't know who did it, but I'm gonna say most likely it was probably my dad. Left something on the table because that's usually what happens at this point. That, or he puts the food trash in the trash can that the dogs can grab the trash bag and just jerk on it, and next thing you know, all the trash is on the floor. So we have a different one that we got specifically because they kept getting into that trash. But then we had another trash that we knew we just couldn't throw food stuff in. And when we got the new trash, the old trash became, the older trash stayed in there and in place of the one that didn't have a lid on it. But that's the one they can also jerk open by grabbing the bag. But if you don't put food trash in there, it's not a problem, because the other one, even though they could, I don't, The other one has a plastic ring around the top that keeps it in place, so they can jerk on it, but they're probably more inclined to pull the whole trash can over. Dude. Squeaky ass. Anyway, yeah. She got in the bread. And as I was driving over there, I looked at her hair and it looked kind of funky. And I started messing with it and pulled off a big loose tuft. And she has a little bald spot. And I could tell what normally happens is when somebody's home or when somebody comes to the window or drives up or whatever, if the dogs get excited, then Ziva wants to be in the middle of checking it out to see who's here, right? Well, then Taz does that as well. Gidget usually stays out of their way, but since those two are right in the middle of things, what generally happens is Taz will turn around and kind of do one of these and bite Ziva in the side. Now, I've talked about putting them in their crates before. That would not have helped today because I was long gone before my dad went anywhere and he wouldn't put them up. Would you stop? You do not have to dig the carpet. It's not going to make it any softer, dude. Yeah. So yeah, he got her on the side, and I could tell that was what happened with just like the spot that it was at and how big it was, because the hair was definitely kind of, he didn't have that much, like he had a lot of what he got her with was drool, but he did pull some of her hair out, and well, he loosened it, and it came off when I was checking it out on the way over. But then, as we're walking around, she's got a bald spot on her side. So it's like, fuck. So add that to the other point of really wanting out of that space. So then when I go to leave somewhere, I can lock them up and know they are confined safely and will not do anything like that. But if and will stay off of the table because they are confined. But if I'm not there to do it, it's not going to get done. So, yeah, I don't know. Something on the wall. Anyway. Would you stop? She don't want to stop. She wants attention. So anyway, the whole deal with my cousin's situation. He called my aunt at one point. I don't remember why, but obsessively worrying over things like my grandfather used to do. Now, mind you, it is his stuff, and it is his soon-to-be former apartment, which we had to move him out of because he's broke himself. And yes, he has anxiety. That only goes so far, y'all. I think what it came down to was he is still wanting not to have his cats in his room with him. My aunt has 2 other cats, and he's apparently terrified of the corgi puppy, which, I mean, she's a little over a year old now. That dog, there's nothing scary about that dog. And I think he was bit by something bigger, like in more recent years. But that little corgi is not going to hurt anybody. And he was making a big deal about wanting her locked up and all this stuff. It's like, you're going to I told my aunt, it's like, this is her house. This is the only house she has known. Well, I mean, aside from the one she was born at, right? And even then, she was in a barn. So it's like, he's going to have to adjust and figure some stuff out. But she can't just be crated all the time because he's home now. It's like, that's some bullshit. And I think he turned the cats into the feline version of him with the anxiety because, they haven't been socialized, so they're terrified of everything too. Um, so now they're living with this little chaotic corgi pup and two female cats. And I guess my uncle showed his cats where their litter box was. It's like, well, that could potentially start some issues too, because, the other two cats are used to that just being their space, right? And now they have these strange cats in their house with them. He's upended everything. But yeah, at one point, he was on the phone with my aunt when we were in the van on the way back. And I was like, dude, it's like, you are not going to do that at your parents' house. It's like, you will not make that kind of mess. I told my aunt, it's like, nobody wants a fucking man-child, so he needs to learn how to clean up after himself. And I don't care if he is broken at the moment, he can still put stuff in a trash can. Because my uncle said he's just been throwing like Kleenex and stuff on the floor. It's like, no, do not allow that to happen. It's like, and this aunt, she's the middle child. She's the one that had the most difficult relationship with my grandfather because, of course, my mom, just enabled all the bad behavior as much as possible. And then the youngest, well, by then, he had accepted that he wasn't going to have any boys, so she ended up being the favorite because she was most tomboyish of any of them. So yeah, but the middle one, I think my mom likes to make fun of her, saying she's always been terrified to be around him. It's like, that says more about my grandpa, to be honest. The fact that one of his own children was afraid of him to that extent. That is not the sign of a genuinely loving person. It's just not. Yeah. But yeah, when my cousin was talking to my aunt on the phone, it's like, you will not make that kind of mess at your parents' house. He's born in 98. I don't remember how old he'd be. He's close enough to 30. He needs to figure some shit out, right? And I just kept telling my aunt and my uncle both, especially my aunt since I spent more time with her, it's like, boundaries, set some rules. Since he's just moved back in with you, do not clean up after everything. And she said the big thing is she wants to wait right now to see what the orthopedist says, and then she's she's going to have some difficulties trying to enforce anything. And then of course my uncle, he might be a middle as well. I don't remember the story on his brother and sister. All I know is they're like both a foot taller than he is, and they say that he was on Ritalin when he was a kid and it stunted his growth or something. So that's the extent of the stories I know on that end. I think he's a middle. I will not swear to that. But he's the one, when he says something, most people blow it off because they don't take it seriously, right? And so he does a lot of the underhanded, sneaky kind of bullshit because nobody listens to him. So obviously my cousin got the way he is with some contribution for both parents on that end, but it's like, do not allow him to do the same bullshit. Do not let him destroy your house just because he's living there and doesn't think he should have to clean up anything after himself. That is some bullshit. I said, nobody wants an overgrown man-child to take on, to babysit as a partner. That is a shitty partner if you can't even clean up after yourself. And he got that from my grandfather, Let me point at this thing. Yeah. A little scuff mark on the wall. Anyway. I don't know. So my aunt said she wanted to ask me for some help because I mentioned either yesterday or the day before, I don't need you to kiss all over me. Please quit it. Stop. So cute though. Should be on the video. Gracie's trying to talk her dad into letting her have a YouTube channel. I was thinking that since they're moving away, it's like, you two could do they could easily have something together. And with this little clown and this big one, they could, I don't know, they could figure something out. They will. Gracie's probably thinking more like video game stuff, but I think she would have fun with her dad doing something on that end too. She loves her dad. He's good people. So, yeah. Anyway, so I mentioned that after my brother's family moves to Oklahoma, hear this in the next 3 weeks or so, my mom and dad are taking my grandma and my aunt to Pigeon Forge to visit her sister. My grandma's sister. And, you know, this is so silly. Like, she has been wanting to do something like that for years, but she couldn't do it previously because my grandfather would not allow it. Or if the daughters got him talked into it, then she was too worried about, well, he won't be able to feed himself. See, this is the overgrown man-child bullshit that is absolute garbage. And I think that's a big part of why I'm still here with my family in this situation, so I can, still put these pieces together with what I'm realizing. It's like my cousin is literally just another version of my grandpa. And I think part of, I talked about the other day that I feel like is really interesting timing-wise that my brother's moving. I'm motivated to get out of there, just waiting for the right pieces to fall into place first. But then 3 of my cousins will be back at home. And, one of them that has been there for a while. And, not too long. He had an apartment elsewhere for a while, and then I realized it was kind of too expensive with that, and he ended up downsizing on a car, but it was still new to him car. So between car payment and everything else that comes with living in your own space, it got to be too much. So yeah. So he's back at home. And now this other cousin's coming back home, or he's there now. And another cousin is coming back home. It's like, and that was the thing, is because you can't get ahead very well out there when you're trying to have a life in your own space. Yeah. But still, it's just interesting to watch the family dynamic end of it. And then especially seeing my cousin's apartment and seeing that he was just letting his roommate take care of his animals. And yeah, that's shit, man. Not a fan of that at all. But anyway, my aunt asked me if I would be willing to help her with the corgi while she is in Pigeon Forge. She said my uncle will be at work from I think he goes in around 5 and gets back around 3. So she wanted to see if I would go over there and let her out at some point during the day, it's like, my cousin's gonna be a shit, honestly. So the cats will be fine. My uncle can deal with those. But maybe I just go over there and kidnap the corgi for a few hours and let her take her on a walk with mine, and then let her chill at our house for a little while so she's just not in the crate the entire time. But that said, my uncle is home. I think he gets back home around 3 and goes to bed around 8, which they've turned the corgi into an old people dog, which, I mean, is not a bad problem to have by any means. It was kind of funny when she was staying with us, because you could tell when she was ready for bed, and she was like, "Why are you still up? Why aren't you in bed? Let's go to bed." And I would end up putting her in the cage in my office and shutting the door just so she could go to bed. Although, as long as she didn't want me to hold her, it was fine, because I could. I did type, like, I was writing for a while at that time. I need to get that habit back. My writing has fallen off, except for the journaling. I still do that a lot. Not as much as I would like to, since I've been really tired with running over here all the time. And skating. I did that 2 days in a row. No regrets, but I'm definitely feeling the extra miles in the both walking and skating. Because of course, walking these guys, they pull, and the leash they have, it's one of those double leashes and they're both kind of springy. So they kind of slingshot each other back and forth. But if they both see, like, a bird that has landed nearby, and try to run after it at the same time, then I have to be ready to, like, brace myself, because, my knee's kind of been locking up here lately, and I'm trying not to have that be a thing. It's funny, like, the more I skate, the less my knee is a problem. But if it's just like walking dogs, then, like, I mean, probably because these two involve so much resistance. But yeah, like, there's a couple times they'd start, I could tell, like, I'm watching them, even peripheral or however, like, if I saw the bird, I was trying to keep my eyes open for any kind of obstacle, such as birds, that are going to potentially make my next 30 seconds difficult. But yeah, like, I can get ready and, like, lean back and, resist more, but then my knee would get, like, stiff. It's like, oh, don't let my knee give out on me when I'm trying to walk these two crazy kids. Luckily, we made it, and it was fine, but oh my God. Sometimes I wasn't so sure. I decided I wanted to do a video over here before I go back home and take a shower, because this is the last time I'll be over here. But I mean, able to do the video. I mean, if I told them I wanted to come to their house and do a video at their house, they wouldn't have a problem with me doing it. But at the same time, it's still kind of weird. And I'm just not hella inclined to want to do that. Since I'm already here and letting the dogs be loose, even though it's snoring peacefully now because it's so tired, and that one there is fine too. Might as well wrap this up so I can get ready to go. Not yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah. They're supposed to be back between 11 and midnight, so I have no idea what time they left. Of course, I think I saw Oklahoma is on Central Time, so they got an hour. I don't know how all that works without putting more thought into it, and it's like, yeah, whatever. They said they should be back between 11 and midnight. Or maybe they didn't take it into account, and maybe they're still on the Central Time awareness on their expected time expected to be back home kind of a thing. I don't know. Tomorrow we're supposed to get some decent storms. We're going to, I think Beth said we're in the 3 severity category. Luckily, I got Gidget's trazodone, I think it's trazodone, for her anxiety for the storms. So hopefully we'll be able to walk in the morning before any of that happens, but I don't know what it's supposed to do. I know 97% chance of rain, that's all I know. Or storms or whatever. We were originally planning on taking Gracie to the zoo, but that can't happen if it's storming for various reasons. But also because my dog's terrified of storms, and that wouldn't be really good. So, yeah, my brother has said with the way the house has been the few times he's been over there, he said he's almost kind of feeling like, my mom used to tell us when we were going over to my grandparents' house, my dad's parents' house, that we weren't to sit on the floor. And we tried to touch as little as possible while we were there, because she would just go on and on about it's so nasty and all that. And it's well, yeah, no, my brother's kind of thinking that with how he's seen the house lately, and I don't blame him at all. Your nails done, dude. This hand. Aren't you so nice? Yeah. What do you think? God, my stomach's making a lot of noises today. Sorry, I don't know what that's all about. Probably because I went to IHOP and ate way more food than I should have. Because since it was so slow moving, because they were short staffed. I was okay, I'm going to take half of this home, because I got this chicken fajita omelet, and it came with, or the side that I got was the pancakes. And I wasn't really expecting to eat all the pancakes, but then I did. But then because we were waiting so long, it's it became just a boredom habit to just eat more of the food while I was sitting there, because it was sitting there and I was sitting there, and I decided to eat it. So I didn't end up taking anything back home. And yeah, so that's probably part of my issue, because that was a lot of food. Oh, here's the fun thing that was not fun at all. Okay, so and I've told a story this will be relevant for. Okay, first off, was it yesterday? I don't remember if it was yesterday. Thank you. Let me just touch her nose to my nose. Luckily, she doesn't slurp me but yeah, she's still right here. Whole lot of dog in my face. And I think she probably knows that her life situation will be shaken up here real soon. This one's pretty on point. She knows lots of things. Doodle. I really don't need you this close, dude. Anyway, last night, I think it was, I started randomly looking at this body candy app and looking at different jewelry, right? And I decided they had a couple things. I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and switch this out with the hoop, or the double hoop thing, because that was essentially why I got the double piercing, was because I had been seeing that a lot and I kind of liked the double hoop. So I decided to go ahead and order one. So I had gotten some stuff from them not too long ago, and then figured out it was going to be trickier to switch my jewelry out than I anticipated. So I had these two earrings that I got for like this one and whatever else, and hadn't used them. So they're on my bathroom counter. So last night I am looking at, I'd been on the app before and saw like they have rose gold, and I really liked that. I liked the ones with the rainbow colors better, but they didn't have any of those on that go around. So I didn't get that, right? But I looked through like the stuff they had on sale as well, and there's like a 12 pack of these hoops that can go in like various piercings, that were like $1.99. So it's like, I'll go ahead and get that. And then I was like $3 away from free shipping, so I kept looking. And then I found a couple studs that I liked. These are not them. These are my fake rubies, because one of my obsidian earrings came unglued the other day, and I was unable to wear it because the rock is not on it, right? And they're done exactly like this. They have a little wire also keeping them in place, but then they're also glued to the post. So I had to revert to the rubies, and they're fake rubies, I think. So yeah, but one of the few other pairs of earrings that I have that's not dangly, because I wasn't trying to walk these yahoos with dangly earrings, especially if it's windy. But just having them in the car because they're like right in my face. Although Gidget's the one that will paw at my arm the entire time and want attention, like want me to pet her while we're driving down the road. They don't do that. Although India did jump over the back seat and end up in the very back of the Escape for a while. So that was weird. Anyway, so I decide I got like a pair of studs coming, these hoops, and the double hoop for my nose. And I kind of had this loose thought of, I wonder how difficult these will be to take out and switch, right? Well, I have no idea when it happened. Okay, I talked about how the one here, I think that's the conch. Was it that one or was it this one? There was one of them about a week after I got it done that when I was in the shower, it felt weird. And when I looked at it after I got out of the shower, it looked like I had lost the back of the earring, right? And I talked about how I thought I saw a post with a threaded end and nothing on it. And so I thought the back was missing. And I talked to the piercing place, and they said that if I could come in by a certain time that day, they would be able to help me out with it. So I went. And when I was there, they took a picture and said it was there. And she said the way the jewelry that they use, if you've lost the back of it, you've already lost the front of it, just because that's how they work. It's like, so what I was seeing was completely wrong. It was not the post with a threaded end at all. It had like this, one of these damn things. They're all this flat thing, right? I have noticed that it's like all at once, they've all healed completely. And now I have like posts that are like substantially longer than they were before, because, especially the ones, my ears kept getting infected because I was having issues with the hair dye and keeping the hair dye away from it or trying to protect it otherwise. The last time we went to do my hair, I just used like medical tape all over my ears to try to keep us from getting the dye on them, but also avoid using the Vaseline to keep it from staining my ears. So, and it did not hold very well at all, but luckily it was not a problem. I'm sorry I messed you up. I accidentally set my hand on her tail when I went to move. But yeah, so I hadn't lost it that day. But what I realized that day, and I've told this story on here a few times, was basically the universe can make me see whatever it wants me to see to get me to go wherever it wants me to go, right? So that day, I was stressing out about an ear piercing that I thought I had lost the back on, and then found out that it wasn't even that type, right? What? So it wasn't even that type of earring at all, right? So we're just gonna hold hands now. So yeah, so like on the way back, because she took a picture of it, and what she showed me in the picture was not what I had seen in the mirror, and not what my mom had seen. She saw that the post with the threaded end also. It's like, okay, so, I'm driving back, I'm seeing all these numbers, and I'm thinking, before I kept seeing like the birth date and death date numbers, especially at that point, like 37, 515, 719, like all of those. Like I just kept seeing them everywhere, and I was thinking, it's like, so basically the universe can make me see whatever it wants me to see to get me where it wants me to go. And that's was relevant because, on this like twin flame stuff, it's like, I cannot comprehend how it's all going to work out at any point in time, right? So it was just like at a time that I was kind of stuck with the mindset of, it has to be this kind of way or something, because otherwise, how's it going to come about, right? Well, then I was given this opportunity to think my earring was missing, or like part of it was missing, until I got to the shop and then found out that it's a different kind altogether. And then when I got back, I showed my mom and I said, apparently, this is what we both saw is not even what they use. And she was confused, and then I showed her, and she's like, and I said, but it wasn't there before, was it? And she's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, I really wish I would have had her take a picture of it, but I did not. And that is unfortunate. But all the same. So that was what that whole thing like was really twos as I was started that. Anyway, will you please not mess my video up? Just because we have to hold each other. You can just hold me like that. This isn't awkward at all. Anyway. Dude. Please stop. Damn it. Don't punch me in the face. Stop. What? What do you want? Do you have to potty? Did you just like try to burp in my face? Paw on the boob. Right there. And the basset's coming closer. Because I moved. Anyway. So, yeah. It was just like that whole point of, yes, the universe is in control, and you think you see things because it wants you to see things and to go in a particular direction at any given time, right? So, yeah. So, today, I came over here to take these guys on a walk, and I had let them outside, and I ran into the bathroom, and when I was in the bathroom, I started looking. It's like, why does my ear look weird? And I looked at it, and that was not there. Okay, first off, that's different, by the way. But I thought, I was like, is that a really funky blackhead or something? Because it looked like there was just a dot, and it was like kind of hard, and it's like, what the hell is that? And then I got to look, and it's like, fuck, I lost the tiger's eye. No idea where the tiger's eye went, but it's MIA. Now, since I did have other earrings that I got for these two placements, I loaded them in the car and went back home to get one of those. But I couldn't find the back of this, like the back of the hole for that one. And so I had to have my mom put the back of the earring through it. And she's like, this is a really weird way to do this. It's like, yes, it is. And it's not really helpful, I'm finding. So we got it. Or she got that one. She put it through the hole for me. I took it's a little yin yang. And well, I tried for like 10 minutes to get that on that post in that spot. And it was like, it's a little, God, it's not very big. It's just like, I mean, it's not even the end of my pinky size, but it's just like a circle, like a little flat disc with a hole in it that you put the hole on or you line the hole up with the post and screw it on. See, what I was realizing as I was telling that story was the kind that I stuck through there had the kind of setup that I thought I had when I thought I had lost the one part of it. But then, like, I was struggling getting that stupid yin yang on there. It's like, fuck it, I don't have time to mess with this. I got dogs in the car. It is crazy humid and probably not ideal to leave them in the car. You know, it's like, I think it's in the 70s today, low 70s, but still, I was like, forget it. So I found my obsidian earring and just pushed it through the hole of the front way and put the regular back on there. But it's like, that's not going to sleep as well. But is what it is, because the post is longer too. But yeah, we have at least resolved the issue currently. And with any luck, those hoops that I got for $1.99, one of those will fit through there. Because that was kind of an idea for that spot as well. You know, and it's kind of funny because like I had no idea. Like last night I just started looking because I was thinking that I wanted to switch that for a hoop finally. You know, and I've done videos where I talked about I kind of like the ruby and the onyx together, and I don't know that I will. But then just here lately it's like, nope, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to do that. But then I was thinking, okay, how difficult is it going to be to switch it? I have no idea at what point the tiger's eye disappeared this morning. I'm going to say it was sometime between helping at my cousin's apartment and, damn it, stop, trimming the lilac bush. That was probably when it happened, to be honest, but I don't know for sure because I don't feel like I really hit my head on anything or smacked my ear at that time, but maybe I did. I don't know why it disappeared, but I understood what she was talking about because the front is the part that snaps in. So if I would have lost the back previously, then yeah, the other would have been gone anyway. Stop. Oh, for God's sakes. Buttercup. Oh, man. I talked to her sister. Clearly, I wanted something, right? She's here. She'll help. What can she do? Oh, shit. It's I'm at 26% now, which, I mean, that's kind of where I was when I did that video the other day, and it all worked out, so I still got plenty of time. Although, for what it's worth, I'm about ready to wrap it up. I just kind of wanted to give a random chaotic update for today. Got a lot of stuff to write about on that end. But yeah, I do need to go home and take a shower. And this next time, okay, I'm not going to do it right now because there's not enough of my roots grown out. But next time we go to do my hair and actually bleach the roots again, we got to bleach a lot further because this was one of those sections that did not get hit. And clearly it does not hold the color quite as well. And it's, yeah. And my stomach keeps making noises. That's annoying. Anyways, I am going to wrap it up so I can go back home and deal with my dogs because nobody's been happy today with the way everything worked out because it's so all over the place. I mean, it's been fine, but is still chaotic and out of the norm. And I think my dogs especially are kind of creatures of habit. These guys just love it when I come over because they know they're going to get regular walks, and they love that. um, my brother's kind of hit and miss on that one, so, and more miss than hit most of the time. But yeah, hopefully when they get situated in Oklahoma, they'll be able to kind of remedy that a little bit, because I think they would all be happy. He has said that it's felt like a huge weight off being out there and not here. So, and I was reading like a few things today talking about like with the eclipse this morning, and just the end of the eclipse season, I guess. And I think there's like a new moon or something too tomorrow. Or is that full? Or is it full moon? I don't know. I have to check. There's like a few things. Like I saved a bunch of stuff today that I like came across on Instagram, like when I was sitting in my aunt's car on the way to the U-Haul place all at once. 1:11:11. And they seemed really relevant, but that's been a long time ago. And there's been a lot that's happened since then. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up so I can go home and deal with my dogs for a while and not have to come back over here in the next couple days. So, I like these guys. Enjoy spending time with them. Even enjoy walking them, even though it kicks my ass. But, yeah. I mean, it still helps with that grounding thing, so that's always good. But, yeah, I'm also ready to have more of the normal routine back. Yeah, I read something the other day that was talking about if you've been doing the healing work from like the emotional trauma and whatnot, you should expect to be tired, like more tired than normal. It's like that has absolutely been the case for like the past year. And especially when I've been skating, then it's like there's been there's been a lot of times where it's like, why am I so tired? And it's like, well, part of it is skating. And I've been thinking about it a lot. I think I want to try to get another 21 miles in at some point before the end of May. And I don't know why before the end of May, but I do. She keeps moving her tail. Weird. Almost like she wants to wag it. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I want to do another 21 miles. But since my other miles have not been regular enough, like I did 7 a couple days ago, and then yesterday I think I did like 5.19 because it was windy as shit, and I wasn't trying to kill myself on doing further. But yeah, I will say it has been, I mean, I can feel it. My butt definitely feels it. But I like knowing that I did something, so that's nice. Anyway, wrapping it up. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya.